Hiya, this is Mia Harpy, and this is my first video on this channel. Honestly, I'm quite nervous about doing this, but hey, this is something I want to talk about. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for 7 years by now, and I just love the story so far. Loved it so much that I played through New Game Plus, just to pick up on anything that I missed. And going through A Realm Reborn all the way to Shadowbringers again, has really got my brain working full time. So, I'm going to share my thoughts, and to be fair, I don't know if this is going to be an actual thing that is revealed in Endwalker. We will have to wait and see about that. There's gonna be spoilers of course, but because of the title, I'm assuming you guys are up to date with the game. So it's time to push away my anxiety and get right to it then. I'll try to quickly go through this small history lesson bit so we can get to the juicy part. So at the beginning, the world is going to shit and the Convocation is trying to prevent the final days. Their biggest plan is to summon an entity named Zodiark that would represent the world. Problem is, it requires a huge chunk of sacrifices to summon him. Azem, the 14th Convocation member, was completely against this and peaced out. Zodiark's summoning ended up as a success and legit stopped the world from dying, but the world was in complete shambles. So another chunk of sacrifices was used to bring life back to the planet, which ended up being successful as well. In a way, all the life and plants you see on the source is legit thanks to Zodiark, something I never thought I would say when playing through this game. Anyways, the Convocation decided that because so many lives were sacrificed for this, once everything is repopulated again, to sacrifice life energies of those who are new to bring back the ones they lost. This is where Vana and her group comes in. They decided that they didn't like the Convocation's plan and felt Zodiark was too powerful. So what was Vana's plan? To summon another powerful entity, Hydaelyn, to keep Zodiark at bay, which also requires a chunk of sacrifices. Apparently, before Hydaelyn was summoned, Vana's group asked Azem to join them, but it seemed he didn't want to. Probably because, in a way, they were doing the exact same thing the Convocation was doing to solve their problems. At the end, Hydaelyn was summoned and fought Zodiark and won. The only way Hydaelyn could weaken Zodiark was splitting his power, which in turn caused the world to split as well, into what we know as the Source and the 13 Shards. Because of this, almost everyone's memories seem to fade away. And finally, Hydaelyn sealed Zodiark away, possibly in the moon. This is what we learned in Shadowbringers, but this is where I started to wonder, how did we get from here to A Realm Reborn? Zodiark was the one that stopped the final days and rejuvenated the world, while Hydaelyn didn't help at all, and instead split the world and its inhabitants apart. But in The Realm Reborn, everyone thought highly of Hydaelyn, even us players. We all saw Hydaelyn as the deity that cared greatly about her people. In Zodiark, we saw him as an evil deity, and if he's ever released, it would be a bad thing. Of course, there's the thought of the winner is always seen as the hero in their story, and the Saiyans causing rejoinings, which led to the deaths of many people. But I feel like those two reasons are actually limited, because history tends to be lost over time thanks to the calamities, like the battle between Hydaelyn and Zodiark taking place, and the Saiyans existing in the past, they being the reason for the calamities in the first place. And then another thought occurred to me. Our character is Azem, no doubts about it. Azem in the past seemed to want nothing to do with Hydaelyn and Zodiark, and refused to help summon them. And yet now Azem is Hydaelyn's chosen champion? Azem may have lost his memories and reborn multiple times, but chosen champion is a bit much, right? So, follow me along on this line of thinking I have. After Hydaelyn's success and the world splitting apart, what was Vana's next thing to be concerned about? The world splitting was her own doing, so it's not that. What I would be worried about is Zodiark being released by the Convocation. Just finished sealing him away. I wouldn't want anyone to undo my work. They're probably going to try forcing all the worlds to be combined again to strengthen Zodiark, but all of Hydaelyn's power is being used to keep Zodiark in check right now. So, the best thing would be to get help from others, but can't just ask every person in all 14 worlds. Too much power would be spent, and not everyone would have the desire or be strong enough to fight against the Convocation. Azem, originally part of the Convocation, a traveler, an adventurer who goes out, befriends, and help others greatly by solving problems. No other ancients would go out and do the things that Azem does. Just that alone is proof enough of Azem's strength and wisdom. That was the answer that Vanad would seek. Azem wouldn't remember the Convocation. Azem wouldn't remember they were co-workers and possibly close friends. And Vanad? She wouldn't have to do much at all to get Azem on her side. All she had to do was show or tell Azem, these people are evil. You must stop them at all costs. So, when Azem does see the Convocation doing something bad, like causing deaths, Azem will surely go and attempt to stop them. This would just strengthen Hydaelyn's influence over Azem, because Hydaelyn seems to be correct, not knowing what Hydaelyn's actual purpose was. Azem doesn't even need to be tempered or anything. Any person would easily believe Hydaelyn was good. And what's more, when Azem goes and helps others, just to mention Hydaelyn would get them to believe Hydaelyn is good as well. And those who follow along with Azem, well, more warriors of light for Hydaelyn. The fact that Azem travels around the world, that just makes things much more effective. More people to see, meet, and become allies with. If Azem dies and is reborn, the process will just repeat itself with Azem hearing Hydaelyn's voice. And at most, all Hydaelyn has to worry about is for Azem to stay alive long enough to be strong enough to handle things on his own. The history of the source is always limited because of the calamities, but one of the things that seem to live on are actions and accomplishments of the heroes of the past, which is spread far and wide between people, or when written down and preserved. This is what I believe that potentially happened and why we're at this present day in the game, where Hydaelyn is good and Zodiark is evil. Guys, I think Azem ended up becoming Vanad's prophet, and not really by choice either. Azem is Hydaelyn's chosen champion, because Azem is Vanad's best choice to repel the Convocation. Does Vanad even care that Azem is possibly killing friends and co-workers? I don't know. Vanad says she has no ill will towards the Convocation, but at the same time, she chose Azem. At the end, we won't truly know until we finally have the talk with Vanad. Just remember though, the very first cutscene was of us, defeating an Asayan, while hearing Hydaelyn's voice. I don't know about you guys, but at most, Hydaelyn definitely influenced us, the players, that she could be trusted. Thanks for listening if you got this far. I must admit, I probably was a bit influenced by MatPat's game theory videos in a way when making this video. I truly do hope you guys enjoyed it though. Feel free to like and comment if you want to. I'm usually open-minded, and I am interested to see what you guys think of this theory. Just to say, I can easily be wrong about this, but I can't help but think how anti-religious this theory actually is, and how it fits in well with the general theme the Final Fantasy series usually have. Regardless, I'm positive I'll enjoy Endwalker even if I'm wrong. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all, the Final Fantasy XIV community, in Endwalker.